We are hosting our first edition of EngageMint Enterprise. EngageMint has been our flagship, retention conference for so many years now. I'm very, very excited to see the turnout here at our very first edition, whether it's the likes of Unilevers and the likes of Adani's, Duraflex, right? Very, very insightful conversations going all the way to omni-channel conversations from Shopper Stop, Fab India and rest of the folks here. Very, very excited about the amount of shared lessons learned. I was on the bylines looking at people networking, talking about all these pain points at an enterprise level, right? Be it data, be it analytics, be it unification of user information across different silos. I feel very proud that we are playing a pivotal role in helping these companies shape their thought and learn from each other and move towards a very uniform quality of user engagement, very high quality of data retention and analytics.
Bharat was all those hinterland cities, not well connected with infrastructure, not having access to things like what were available back then for India. That transformed. Complete transformation happened. In the last 2.5 years, the divide between India and Bharat has gone. If I reflect on the categories that I represent, which is the investment side, the highest number of demat accounts, and I'm repeating this, the highest number of demat accounts have been opened in tier 2 and tier 3 towns, right? We are sitting as we speak on over 100 million demat accounts pan-India. And remotest of the place, we are seeing numbers coming up on the India map. We are hearing chatter, we are hearing conversations around investment when we look at the listening intelligence on investment on various asset classes. So Bharat is really evolved. Just ending at the last statement. At the progress at which things are changing around us, online is the new offline. Metaverse is the new online.
In 30 seconds, we're going to build a world-class company. Correct? Ready? Sab jage hue? Okay, let's go. So, there are 4 steps to be building a great company. Whatever you do, whether you run an insurance company, like I said earlier, a bank or whatever, and the 4 steps are the following. Warm welcome. So, what company do you run? I run, I saw when I came in earlier, there was ICICI something securities or, yeah. So, let's say I run ICICI securities. Do people come to the branch? No. Do people come online? Yes. How do I welcome them? How is that welcome different from the other 5 guys? Zerodha, Grow, Stocks, whatever. So warm welcome. What are the 5 ways? Write it down. 5 ways that your welcome is different and better than your competitor. Zero defect product. I've come in, but the AC doesn't work, nothing works. I'm talking about hotels here. I've taken Easy Diner Prime. I gave you such a great example. Ab latest recipe gaye. Unhone bola koi prime nahi hai, chaliye bahar. Product's gone for a 6. Zero defect product. How do you make sure that your product works world class all the time? What are the 5 things you do to make sure your product works great all the time? Third step, anticipatory service. I need to anticipate, okay, what's important. So I'm like anticipating that maybe I need to finish faster, so next speaker finishes faster, so that 20-minute deficit, your lunch doesn't get delayed. Because you are mentally tuned to having lunch at 1. Okay, so that's anticipatory. So I need to anticipate, I need to go fast. And the final step is fond farewell, which everybody gets wrong. Everybody gets fond farewell wrong because people don't say bye. Every time you've stayed out of a hotel, they send you a TripAdvisor review and saying, how was your stay? Nobody sent you something at home and saying, hey Avlesh, thank you for staying with us. It's been 6 months since I last saw you. Missing you, buddy. Here it is, okay? So nobody gets that right. And also at the property, how are you saying bye? So our standard is that the resort manager should go and say bye to you?
How does it work out? Maybe if you can just shed some light on building a tech-first culture in a giant like Unilever.
Look, I'll take it in two steps, right? First thing first, within Unilever, building that culture, right? That becomes the first step for us to start looking at ourselves as, a digitally native and active company. What is the important piece here is that it's important for us to make sure that it doesn't become ownership of one person, a CEO or a CDO, a CDIO or anything, right? It has to be embedded into the culture or every level of the organization. So that becomes the first step. How do you do that? It's only by getting that structure in right at every level, every function to drive digital adoption, both internally and externally. When I say externally, when we go out into the market and industry as well, right? So that's the first part of it. The second part is when you go externally, every market is different, right? For some markets like Thailand, the moment you go outside, you see even a small kiosk or a roadside thela, they have two tabs just next to each other. They are like digitally completely active on multiple forms. Be it socio-commerce, messaging, or any video platforms or whatever it is. That's one way to look at it. Whereas take an example of India or Indonesia. In many cases, if you go beyond tier 2, tier 3 cities, it's predominantly feature phones, not even smartphones that are there. So if you want to really bring in a culture and an experience which is common across this varied difference, it becomes very different, right? Difficult. So how do you build a digital connect which spans right from digital native to digital active and digitally non-native end users is what makes the entire conundrum, and that's predominantly what we focus on when we go outside Unilever as we step there.
So in pandemic, when Prime Minister really announced the lockdown, we went in with our communication of how sleep builds immunity. There was nothing to sell there. I mean, nobody was going to buy a mattress listening to that. But we genuinely believed in the cause of sleep. We had the knowledge to share, and we kind of communicated that for 3-4 months without any business. So if you have a purpose and if you're really committed to that, everything is an opportunity to connect with your consumer. It cannot be only very transactional and sales driven. And that's what we've managed to achieve. That it's very important that you create content, you create communication to really solve for the consumer's journey. What is it that you want to talk to them in a very, very segmented way? Who's the consumer you want to talk to? For Sounds Asleep, it was purely the young parents. We were not talking to everybody and anybody, right? With Alia, it was that customer who refuses to give up the gadda because their family has been buying and refuses to change. So it's very important that you break down your communication. Therefore, in MarTech, when you're deploying MarTech, when you're deploying engagement tools, it's no different, right? You have to be very clear with your partners as to what is that journey that they should solve for. Of course, choose partners, but also sometimes grow partners to be part of the larger journey. And that's what we are getting into, that we want to be very clear that we have very simplified metrics right through awareness, through advocacy. Because as I said, we are not about loyalty at all. Our brand is about advocacy. One customer referring to another customer, right? And that is only possible through tech deployment, where you're able to segment down the consumer, break it down to that one consumer, but also connect with them with the right piece of content.
Do you think engaging your consumer, your prospects, your customers, they're coming from multiple forays of, mediums of interaction with your brand. Do you think engagement platforms really provide a meaning they really give a bump to your top line or to your bottom line, if I may say so. Does an engagement tool really help you? Sushant, you want to take that first?
Yeah, I would say, of course. I mean, I think an engagement tool, it eases what we would have to. It's like that build versus buy approach, right? If you have to,
Okay.
if you have to build it in house, can we do it? Yes, possibly yes, but at what cost, at what time, right? But there is somebody who's already solved that problem,
Okay.
right? So I think it definitely helps in having these engagement platforms which help. One important thing that they help, and it's an old marketing cliche, right? That only 50% of our marketing spends work, but we don't know which 50%.
Okay.
Right?
Yes.
And I think the one way to solve that conundrum is to see that, okay, how much data, what kind of data do we have? What kind of data analytics do we have? And I think when these engagement platforms give us that data, is when you cannot, of course, make it that 100% sure that, okay, 100% of my marketing spend is doing this
Is
for me.
justified and
But I
giving
think
you a
it will-
return on
it'll
investment.
maybe
Correct.
screw that 50-50 to maybe 60% where we know what is working, or maybe 70% where we think what is working and not what is not working.
Correct.
So yeah, I think definitely.
And engagement platforms
Yeah.
really make a difference.
Yeah.
Awesome. What about you, Rajat?
Yeah, same opinion. I guess engagement platforms, when user is engaging with a brand, it creates a great recall in their head. So that might not impact their immediate purchase decision, but somewhere down the line, when they are thinking about purchasing something and comparing two brands, a sense of engagement really impacts the decision.
Okay.
Again, there's no measurability to it, but like Sushant said, 50% of your marketing spends work and 50% does not. We don't know which 50% it is.
Correct.
But creating a top line funnel for the brand, engagement, I guess, going forward, and today as well, is going to be a key player in that.
Good. What about you, Atul?
Yeah.
Do you think engagement platforms really create a useful use case for you?
Yeah, definitely. I think engagement platform is a crucial part of the as a retention marketing for sure. I think it's how it enables us to first identify that gap. Because today, even if you might just get, for example, the website traffic or the funnel through maybe Google Analytics, right?
Yeah.
But identifying which is this user, right? Who is going from like point A to point B and to point C. That's where the engagement tool comes to the picture, where we know that this user who was browsing something maybe on 7 days back now has registered. He has given his detail, and now he's on the path of maybe making a transaction.
Okay.
So clearly the engagement tool kind of facilitates that.
Okay.
So that's one point. Second thing is also from the communication point of view. So today a lot of complex journeys which were not possible.
Correct.
Right. So where the communication was been sent from in silos, where same database is being uploaded on a different channel, which is maybe for an email and SMS and notifications.
Correct.
You reach out to the same user through 3 different channels. How about that's where the engagement tool comes to picture, where it identifies.
And then you see the first unified view of your buyer. What are they buying? From where are they buying?
Yeah. What's the preferred channel to touch base that user? Create a complex journey. Something, the example I gave for the cart abandon journey, right?
Correct.
So definitely it helps a lot.
Okay.
Not only of course to reach out, definitely at the same time reduce the spend, and also reduce the manual hours. Because a lot of time and then effort has been spent across on getting things aligned, which is in silos, which can be done easily through an engagement tool.
At India Today Group, we have always had that advantage that the proprietors and the management allow you to fail. Because if you don't experiment, you're not.
You fail early in the cycle.
Yes, absolutely. You fail early. You have a minimum viable product, you go to market, it fails, you change, you adapt, you junk, you bring it back when the time is right. Maybe sometimes you're ahead of its time, and you keep experimenting, because if you don't experiment, you're not getting anywhere. And that's one of the big changes that is happening in the business, not just media, globally, across industries. It's the age of experimentation, and therefore, I would reckon and advise that's the one that is the key lever. That's where everything is going to pivot. The consumer no longer is consuming only one format. In fact, you see it all the time. So while it used to be intra-platform, one day there is cricket, so news will go down. One day there is news, so entertainment will go down.
Correct.
But right now you see that, if if one day you've had good on TV, YouTube's going to be down.
Hmm.
The other day, maybe, the son of the family is on YouTube and the rest of the family is on television. So
Okay.
all those are dynamics that are playing out, every minute. So it's very important that you have a unified messaging, that you're creating an experience that is differentiated. You don't have to carry the same experience everywhere.
Okay.
It has to be a differentiated experience, and you're going to talk that language and give him that value that he's willing to pay for.
For that
Even if
particular
you're giving
content
it
that.
free, but the one simple important question is, if you were going to ask him money for this, will he pay or will he not pay? And that's the
That
time
is a
you
big
actually-
question to answer.
We came up with this new digital proposition of the unbank. Again, stemming from this whole promise of live more, bank less, right? We believe that a lot of, or we saw that a lot of banking is heavily jargonized, right?
Right.
It's unnecessarily
Yeah, they scare
complicated.
people off.
Yeah, I mean, it's unnecessarily complicated, right? And it doesn't need to be. And with us, having digital on our side, we wanted to de-jargonize banking for us. And I mean, when you saw that sort of the clip that we played, essentially what we were trying to do was that, again, we were trying to talk to the customer in the language that they understand. So one of the first things that we did, and I will encourage you guys to go and check out the Digibank by DBS website, is that we completely refreshed our website. And we believe that it doesn't look like any other banking website, right? I mean, to begin
Wow.
with, it has a levitating girl as the banner. And then, it talks in a language which is so much more in line with the audience that we talk to. And it sort of translates banking to their everyday life, right? And talking about that omni-channel marketing and talking about that hourglass, once we had refreshed the website, we took that same message across all our different channels and mediums, and we started talking. We built some tenets for the unbanking, right? Like, we're going to be de-jargonized, we're going to be simplified. And it's not just about tonality, but both form and function. So even, for instance, our website, we reduce the number of clicks that you need to get to the product that you want, or, finding the products on the top navigation bar, making it easier for the customer to find the CTAs, right? So those were the kind of things that we did on the website. And further, we sort of, like I said, took it across different channels.
So for me, there are three big things that I always carry from this conference. First is understanding retention. Second is meeting with the like-minded people. And third is meeting the industry big leaders. It brings the best of, it is a hybrid of two worlds, getting the startups and getting the enterprise companies together and understanding what broader vision they are achieving together. In this EngageMint Enterprise edition, for me, the standout was customer service and retention coexisting in the ecosystem. For me, one big takeaway was complaint is a gift. Try and handle it with the care.
Some of the speakers, the agenda that you share about the digital part, there is a lot of learning, and I think it is one of the best networking meet that you do. So key takeaway from the event, one is absolutely being into a digital marketing profession. When you always hear on a blogs or you talk about anybody like Neil Patel or anybody who always speak about being a part of the networking meet. So I think this is one of the great session where you get people from diversified platforms who looks after different who talks about retention, who talks about CRM. So I think it's a great learning because you are learning from their experiences.
Sometimes events tend to be very uptight and formal. What I loved about EngageMint was how informal it was and how free-flowing it was. Even the conversations in the fireside chats were kept fairly informal and engaging, which is what I loved about it. I mean, mine was one of the last sessions and people were still awake, so I'm assuming that people were having a good time at the session. I myself enjoyed the conversation and, getting different perspectives from different industries, across one of the sort of core areas of, our work, which is retention marketing, was extremely engaging and enlightening. The biggest, I would continue to say that brand and what you believe, your brand brings to a consumer's life continues to remain most important. Also, how well even different categories which were erstwhile considered to be legacy categories, are embracing technology. To engage with their customers is one of the second big takeaways for me. Yes.
I absolutely love the energy in the room. I think it was very nice. I think the format size is just absolutely amazing. I think it's extremely interactive. The audience is very responsive. And I think it's also an opportunity for me to learn. I saw a couple of interesting speakers up there. So it was a great opportunity. I wish I could spend some more time and even listen to even more stuff and kind of take back learnings. But I think it's a great platform for knowledge sharing. That's what I think.
This is my first time here, and I must say it's so well organized. More importantly, so well curated. The topics are something that even I would like to learn about. Focus on the curation is really great. You have topics which really make sense to your business and your consumers, and a small set of like-minded people. It's not that there are hordes and hordes of people, and a lot of people are actually listening to the conference, because what happens is when you go to conferences, they're mostly outside, right? And they're not listening. But here, most of the audience is listening to most of the sessions, which is a great part. And I think the event team has done a great deal in organizing this so efficiently, so effectively. So great job, guys.
To know more about us, you can follow us on Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube.